guys, come on, join on in, get your drinks ready. Tonight we have some amazing topics. We will be discussing a few fashion looks from the Met Gala, and we'll be talking about topics regarding, trans women. That's what we have tonight on our panel. Some beautiful, beautiful girls. Um, the topics that you bitches be in the shade room comments about. The topics that you bitches bump your gums about all around the world. Tonight is the night. If you got any, discrepancy, if you got any, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. My girl's got some shit to say. So,
Period.
yeah. All
We definitely.
right. Because the girls be going off in the comments, bitch.
Oh, it's been
Guys,
They be going
going off in a
off.
moment.
Yes, God. Hey, ladies. Thanks for joining in, y'all. Hello, hello, everybody. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for Joshspeakz. We are here with another video and another live for you guys tonight. We are here with the T from the LGBTQIA plus, as y'all like to say, the LMNOP community. We are here with the T. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, good. I have some beautiful, beautiful ladies tonight with me on the panel who will introduce themselves shortly. But right now, I want to do a quick commercial break, as we always do. I want to promote my hookah business. I have a
Yes.
mobile hookah brand. Yes, if you girls need anything for your personal parties, your personal events, things of that nature, you can hit me up. I do mobile hookah. Also, be
Nah.
sure to follow me on this Instagram. Follow my panelists as well, and add me on TikTok at the real JL. And so now that all of that's over, oh, another thing I do want to say is this is probably going to be the last time I go live on Instagram. I'm about to start shifting things over to my TikTok platform.
Mm.
So, guys, follow me on at the real JL on TikTok, and that's how we'll do that. Let's get shit shaking over there. So. Now I want my ladies to introduce themselves. I do have a co-host tonight, which I normally always have. My co-host is Gigi, the glam goddess, down the bottom of me, looking fabulous. I
Guys,
love
looking
it.
amazing.
Yes,
Yes, thank
God. And I
you.
love the facial film. I've been following your journey. I love it. I love it so
Thank
much. I
you.
am a subscriber on YouTube.
Thank
Uh,
I'm
you.
next. Okay.
so I'm gonna
I
have
pinched the nose.
period. So I'm going to have Gigi introduce herself first, and then I'll have all the other ladies go around the panel and introduce yourselves. Shout yourselves out. Where can we see you? Where can we follow you? Don't be afraid to let us know that.
All right. So, hey everybody. I am Gigi, the glam goddess, and I am a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for about 10 years. I started my transition at like 13. And I'm from East Baltimore. So that's
Period.
just a
East
little bit about me.
Baltimore,
Yeah.
Northeast.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Mimi. So, ladies,
Me,
we have Gigi, we got a Mimi, and we have Amber
me next.
tonight. Okay.
Mimi, Shamimi, Shamika. Okay. So,
Okay.
I'm from Baltimore. I'm one of the older. I ain't gonna say I'm old, but I'm 41. I started my transition probably about when I was 21.
Okay.
So 20 years in the game.
Oh my God. Hold
Yeah.
on, ladies. Hold
Yes.
Right.
on. Not fucking up
20
my
years in the game.
intro. Yeah.
Um, Tag
Okay.
me and follow me on IG. You know, I'm about to start posting menus and stuff. So yeah, yeah. All right, get into it.
Thank you,
Get
Mimi.
into it.
Thank you so much. All right, Amber.
Okay, my name is Amber. People call me Bimbo Am. I'm born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm 26. I started transitioning at 22, so 4 years, almost five. Um,
Okay.
as far as like career, I guess you could say I do like online like OnlyFans and like camming and stuff like that. So and I'm also planning to launch a cosmetic line pretty soon. I'm relaunching the Billy Boutique. So that's what I've been working on, and I'm in school as well. So that's like the gist of it.
That's amazing, girl.
Yes.
Why are you banned on live?
I don't know.
What? Girl,
Mm.
y'all gotta filter it out. So I know, but Instagram is so strict. Like their policies are fucking crazy. You can't even listen
Because
to
I be
music.
arguing with people in my comments, like the music thing, and I be arguing with my comments, and you can't do that. So like, yeah, I got the boot.
Period. All right, ladies. So we're gonna hop right on in. It is May. The flowers have sprung. It's hot outside now. So we are going to get into some hot topics. Some of the hottest topics that you know have been going on as far as from the beginning of this year. And like I said, we're going to get into the Met Gala a little bit later. But for right now, I want to kind of open it up with you ladies tonight. Uh, like I said, the girls be having a lot to say, when it comes to the trans community. And I want everybody, this is a safe space. I'm here for y'all. But at the end of the day, if any one of y'all in the comments, if y'all have anything, leave a comment. I'll try to address your comment tonight. And but I want to start with Gigi. I want to ask you all, what when did you first realize that you were trans? Or some trans may say that, you knew that you were in the wrong body or things like that. When did you first realize that? Starting with Gigi.
Okay. Um, so I realized fairly young. I probably was about 3 years old, honestly. And it's just a feeling. Like you just know. I didn't really have the words to communicate what I was going through until I got more older and my vocabulary expanded. But 3 years old, yeah.
Okay. So was it any like do you remember any specific type of event like that happened? Like to where as though it was just like, okay, I know I'm not this. I'm a girl. Like,
Okay, so I remember when I was younger, I would say about 9 years old. And my like I would play with Barbie dolls. My grandparents and stuff was very accepting of me. So they would like buy me Barbie dolls, but they kind of felt bad because it's like, why are we buying a boy Barbie dolls? And so like eventually they tried to stop like some of my feminine traits. And I remember one time it was a pivotal moment where I told my grandmother, I was like, I don't want to be a boy anymore. I think she like took away the toys and was like, no, we not doing this no more. And I was like, I don't want to be a boy no more. Like if I gotta fit into a certain box, then I just rather not exist. I don't want to do this. And so I expressed that to my grandmother and she just looked at me like, what made you say that? And I said, I'm a
yeah.
girl. I've always been a girl. And that's so funny because she used to do hair down the basement. And I was
Okay.
on the step and I was just talking to her like from the step, like, this is not it. And I think that moment was a really pivotal moment where it hit them as well as it was a defining moment for me. Like, this is who I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about you, Amber? I know that you said that you recently started transitioning about 4 years ago. But does it go that way back for you as well too? Whereas though you were just like, I don't, like, was that age for you, when you realized that that just wasn't, you know,
Yeah. So yeah, it was very early on. Like I always kind of knew, but like Gigi was kind of saying, like when you would say like I want to be a girl, people would look at you like that doesn't make sense. So I
mm,
would kind of suppress it, but like from very on, from like I used to play with dolls, just like Gigi said as well. Always was feminine. Like I would wear like shirts on my head, like as my
mm,
hair and
Me
stuff
too.
like that. So yeah, but like early on, unfortunately, my family wasn't that accepting, so they would try to like rear me in a different direction. But as you can see, I'm still here. So,
yes,
but yeah, that's kind of how it worked out. And then I kind of suppressed it, and then I moved to Atlanta for school at like 17, 18. And
uh-huh,
that's when I started to see like femme queens in real life in real time. Like, okay, this is possible. Like the girls are out when they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like I could do it too. So
period.
I think Atlanta, it was always early on, but like Atlanta kind of shifted my perspective and gave me that push to transition. So
Okay,
definitely.
so yeah, definitely that support and like you seeing that, that familiarity, like I feel like that definitely was kind of like a flag for you, like to continue on. What about you, Mimi? When did you realize that, this just wasn't it? Like, I'm in the wrong body.
I mean, going along with what they say, it starts when you're young. You know that you know that you're different than,
Mm-hmm.
what they say that you are. Um, the girls' clothes and dressing up and playing with dolls. I've done it all. I've always been into style, hair and makeup and nails and stuff like that. I was, you know, we would go to the store, get the little nails and glue them on with the little fake glue that came with it. So it was,
Okay.
yeah, I always been into that, and I knew that's what felt right to me. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in my family, my family were Jehovah's Witness, so it was like
Mm.
you gonna put on this suit to go to this shirt and tie.
Yeah.
So it's a battle. You know what I'm saying? When people, but not knowing, the family that I came from, which is my dad's side, I grew up around, they were more acceptable than, you know what I'm saying? They never judged. The only person that said something was my father. And that was it.
Okay.
Everyone else, my grandmother, my uncles, my cousins, everybody was like, okay, okay, cousins. It is what it is. So,
So, what do y'all have to say to the people that would say that with the feel like that would argue that feeling? Like, do y'all have anything that would like anything that you would say towards people that would try to combat that? Like, it's just a feeling and that's a part of the developmental process of a child. Like, what would you say in regards to that being your experience being more so different, like being trans versus then like a gay boy?
Christianity, it's always religion, you know what I'm saying? First and foremost, because of their belief.
Right.
Yeah.
They're just taught to believe it's just supposed to be man and woman. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people don't know it's always a delicate balance away in between everyone's difference in this world. You
It's a
understand? Whether
diaspora.
you do this
Yeah.
thing, what works for you works for you. It's just everything is different. Everyone is different. We're different people. We were born genetically different. And this is what we grow into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even with the name or them calling you she, it is still they believe that if they do that they're sinning. You understand what I'm saying? Or they're going against their selves, but they still need to fix their skeletons in their own closets because this is not
Okay.
our skeletons. You understand what I'm saying? It's a
100%.
constant fight daily. I don't care how many rights that we have, we are still, and we're gonna get into some more stuff, but it's still a
Yeah.
battle. And just stay to yourself, stay on your grind, and pay it. Hold your
All
head
right.
up.
What about you, Gigi? What would you have to say towards like people that, don't want to see that differentiation between like what a trans woman is or a trans person versus just someone developing themselves.
Hmm. Okay, so for one, I would say if you're not a scientist or a biologist or a geneticist, then
Yeah.
you don't know. You don't know. You just simply don't know. You are ignorant and you're operating out of ignorance based on the elementary learning or science that you know. And the world is much more vast than we know it to be. And
Hmm.
also this, who can know a man but the Holy Spirit that lives in that man? So if you're not God, then you just don't know. And so you're going to operate out of ignorance your whole life until you realize that there's different variations
Hmm.
of people that do exist. For example, really quick, you see that there's people born with no hands. It's people that's born connected to one another, Siamese twins.
Mm.
So why don't you
Anything
think?
is possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
anything
people
is possible.
understand possibilities when it comes to certain
Hmm.
things and disabilities per se. But yeah, when it comes to trans people, they act like stuck on stupid.
Yeah,
I love that. I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
What about you, Amber? What do you feel about that?
I think most of it is like rooted in ignorance. I think sometimes people have a hard time putting themselves in another person's shoes to understand like someone else's perspective. And
Hmm.
I think also, I think the media definitely doesn't help with that because of sometimes how we're portrayed through
Hmm.
social media, the news, and things like that. We're like dehumanized and like I don't know the word, but like looked at as like monsters when most people don't even really know a trans person. You know, like we're only one
For
percent
sure.
of the world,
For
so
sure.
it's kind of hard to understand when people make generalizations of us and put stereotypes and things on us. Because
Hmm.
if you would get to know most of us, we're just like everyday people. We put our socks on, our pants on the same way as everyone else does. So yeah, I think it's rooted in ignorance, and to combat it, you just have to ignore the ignorance. You just gotta pay it, like Gigi
Yeah.
said.
Period. And yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I can't
Absolutely.
imagine. Like honestly, like already being a gay male is tough. And not saying that I've ever really felt like a woman, but yeah, I just can't imagine going that extra mile, and transitioning. Like it's just that's a lot. Uh, so
I'm sorry, y'all.
within that, with talking about that topic, I wanted to know, like, what age, just speaking about the early ages and the early developmental practices of like transitioning, what age would starting with Gigi, would you say is appropriate to transition?
Um, as
Because
early as possible, honestly. Um,
do you think it should
to
be over 18 or
hell no.
younger than
Uh-uh.
18?
Way younger than 18. As soon as you know. As soon
Okay.
as you know, of course, there's different stages in transition. Transition is just not like, oh, you just pop the hormones and boom, you're a woman.
Yeah.
It's a extensive process, but I
But
feel like
hormones
kids,
do change you, right? Like, when do they start to really take effect? Do the
right?
hormone?
I got you. I got you. Look, I got you. So, for once, it's two different types of transition. It's social transition and there's medical transition where you're getting into the hormones, the surgeries, therefore. So as soon as I think it's okay for kids to socially transition. I mean, what harm is it really
Well,
doing?
okay.
But once I would say about 13, around the age that I did it, about 12, 13, because that way you already have a better understanding of who you are, and
Okay.
that is the age that puberty starts to take form. And being a trans woman, puberty is your worst enemy. That is an enemy to your mental health. So if you can get it to where your puberty starts, It saves so much mental anxiety. It saves so much time with transition and getting extra surgeries and stuff like that. So as soon
You
as
gotta clock it
possible.
early.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's like cancer, baby. You gotta get it quick. You can't just be letting
Stop
cancer.
it in the bud.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Amber?
Yes,
I see you giggling.
yes, 100%. I think the earlier the better. I think I could be considered like a late transitioner because I transitioned like in
But you look
2018.
good.
Thank you. But I think yeah, like she said, I think the sooner the better because honestly, like men and women, males and females have like distinct features that differentiate us.
Yeah.
So it's important to get those features early, and you know what I'm saying. So because I've learned that with transitioning, um, it it's important to like love what you were dealt with by God. Like I love myself, I love my body, but there's also things that I would like to change. And I think the
Hmm.
list of things that I would like to change will be a lot lower or shorter if I had the opportunity to transition
At a
earlier.
younger
So I definitely
age.
think, yeah, I definitely think that like of course like after therapy and like Gigi said, finding yourself and knowing that it's for you, I think once you get that feeling, that inkling, that confirmation, you should go full throttle with it.
Okay, that's lovely. What about you, Mimi? Do you agree with Gigi and Amber with the
Totally.
earlier the better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because well, back in my era, it was more difficult to do it back then. You
Oh,
know
true.
what I mean? So,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
if I could
but
have, I
you
would
look,
have.
well, I mean, 20 is still, at the end of the day, again, like I think Amber said, like depending on genetics and things like that, because I feel like that really has a big part of it too. I wanted to save this question for a little bit later, but I think that I'm going to add it in now. So within the LGBT community, there's a lingo called fishiness or realness.
Hmm.
So with you all explaining your views on like what age that you think should be appropriate for transition, what do you like? I want you all to define realness for me. What do you believe in the concept? Number one, I want you to do you believe in the concept of realness and fishiness? And if so, can you define that for me, starting with Gigi?
Well, for one, it is a term that was based out of survival. For one, as being trans in America, I mean trans all over the world, but specifically a black trans woman. We used it as a tool, as a survival tactic, if you will.
Mhm.
More so than just, oh, she looks cunt, she looks fishy, she's real, or whatever case may be. It was originally used for protection. And I think that being real is a spectrum, for one. And for real, it's all about just being soft. It's about being kind, soft. Like I
Mhm.
feel like certain expectations of the world and what they consider real is a little bit different from what we as trans women would consider cunt or real or soft, because we are a variety of women. We come in all different shapes and
Just
sizes.
like biological women as well. That's what I was going to add in. Like, I feel like that's where that whole idea comes from as well. Like, with some girls saying that I may not be fishy or as real, but I'm still a woman, because there's actual biological women that are not really,
They don't fit the
appeasing to the
mold of
eye.
femininity.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Not me saying appeasing to the eye, but I mean, just
Oh,
that
they
don't
pieces to the eye,
affect.
baby.
Well, true,
The
because
girls
that's
are
another
pieces.
thing. Niggas, niggas,
and
they'll fuck anything at the end of the day.
and I
If
want to
it's,
add
yeah,
this. I would like to add this too. And for a woman to even speak on that, cisgendered woman,
yeah,
biological, whatever, um, for one, you can't speak on another girl's realness or oh she look like, because you can say that that girl look like a brick, but at the end of the day, you not attracted to women. So a man can see that and he's attracted to
Okay,
all of the
I
feminine
can't.
aspects of that woman.
that's a
You may oh
good
she a brick,
point.
she hard, but to that nigga he looking like damn her ass fat like titties right like she look good as fuck like. He still want to look at you like how he looked at, or even more attracted to you because of that. So, you know,
Okay. What about you, Amber?
I think it's tricky because I feel like realness is like a spectrum, like Gigi said. It comes like people. We all come in so many different forms. Like I feel like realness could be your auntie. Realness could be the lady at the grocery store. Realness could be the flight attendant. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's
hmm
just hard to like define. But I will say, realness to me is someone being able to get through today in America,
Okay. Okay.
without getting spooled, without being, just experiencing violence, all of that, like all those things. I think if you can just walk down the street and get through and nobody bothers you, you're not getting called the T word, you're not, being disrespected for your gender identity, then I think that's realness. If you push through and the girls can't clock and you good, I think
Okay.
that's
That's a cute definition.
Hmm.
What about you, Mimi?
Well, basically, who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be the fishiest looking thing, but you still act like, you know what I'm saying, flamboyant. Um, or you could be the hardest
Yeah.
thing, but you so soft and cunt, your personality.
hmm
So, it starts with personality first. You know what I mean? How just humble you are as a person. You know what I'm saying? You could draw people. You know what I'm saying? Just from your aura. So realness is more than just a look to me. You know what I mean? It's your personality, is your energy, and what you give in the world.
Great point.
Okay.
great.
So, with talking about realness, within your transition period, I want to take it back a little bit. I want to take it back to the beginning stages of our current president and his campaign process. I
Lord have
noticed
mercy.
that exactly. I noticed that throughout Donald Trump's campaign process, he had a woman named Peyton McNabb who is biologically born. She was born a woman, and she was advocating for anti-trans rights due to the fact that she was harmed by a transgender woman who was playing sports, who was on the opposing high school team as her, playing volleyball at her high school. So I wanted to know, like, one by one, what do you ladies feel about, the whole Peyton McNabb situation? I don't know if you did your research on it, but what do you feel about that situation in regards to biological women versus trans women when playing sports?
Mm,
Starting with Gigi, my co-host.
Okay.
mm,
All
mm.
right. So it is, oh my God, like we already just said, right? Realness is on a spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Transitioning is on a spectrum. And it is the same with trans women. We are not all built the same. We are not all physically equipped with certain things, and some of us are. Um, I hate to say it, but I don't think it should be allowed necessarily unless you're going through physical exam, like a real strict examination, like unless they measuring your freaking arms and testosterone and all of the things that would make you physically um equal to the women that you're trying to compete against. I think that that would be fair, but even though that is extensive, I
Yeah.
know a lot of other women would not benefit from that. Other trans women would not benefit from that. But at the end of the day, we can't be having, and mainly the white the white trans, okay, we just gonna call it for what it is. The white
Yeah.
trans women are the ones that do stuff like that.
No
Mm-hmm.
And
shade.
it's not fair. It's not fair because you think that, oh, I've been transitioning for, you just started transitioning, you trying to compete in a women's sport. Like, baby, you didn't even break down yet.
So
Like,
actually, so with that being, because I did notice that it is the white trans women that I feel like, and I think that comes from privilege. Now that I'm
yeah.
thinking about that, like the white trans girls will give like I've been transitioning for like a week, and like
I'm a woman. Everybody needs
I
to
can
respect me
do
as
the
such.
things of the thing.
No.
Yeah. What do you have to say about that, Amber? Like, do you think that that racial inequality bleeds over to trans, situations?
Oh yeah, of course. I think there's like a huge gap between the goals of black trans women, most of black trans women, and white trans women. I think that a lot of the times, a lot of the like what we see on the media from a lot of white trans women is rooted in like privilege. And when if you look at the other side, black trans women, we're just trying to survive and live our lives like everyday people and not be subject to violence and harassment and job discrimination, all those things. So if you look at it, we're fighting to live and to operate and make income
Okay.
just like everybody else. As far as the white, a lot of the white trans women, they're like advocating for like things that don't necessarily matter to us as far as
Hmm.
like womb transplants and sports and things like that, because as Gigi said, I
Yeah,
don't think
yup.
it's fair for trans women to compete in women's sports unless they are really really broken down. And I'm talking
Okay.
not just physically but like hormones and like
Yeah.
at that level as well. So I don't think it's okay as well.
Okay.
If
So
you
that's your
can't
stance
beat
on that.
fast, you shouldn't do it. I'm sorry. If you cannot assimilate and nobody clock your fucking feet, then you shouldn't do it. That's just my opinion because you already know you're gonna have a physical advantage. I mean, even transitioning, I already knew like these little hoes playing with me. I can beat the shit. Like I can beat the shit out of you. Like, girl, I'm too physically advanced. You can't fuck with me on that type
Right.
of thing. So I wouldn't even dare to try to compete in a women's sport, knowing like y'all not fucking with me. I'm sorry. So yeah.
Okay.
Like if I fight,
Yeah.
if I can fight a man, I'm not now, but
Yeah.
coming up, no, no.
Okay. What about you, Mimi? About the trans women, going against biological women when it comes to sports? Do you think that it should be, do you think they should be able to hop right into it, or do you think that it should be later on in the transitioning process?
I honestly they should just make a separate sport for trans. Honestly,
I think so.
you understand what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I agree.
Because so their perspective on it is okay. This is was naturally born a man, so they may have more strength or more energy or more speed than we do. So their force against ours is like no. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole controversy about the whole situation. So that's just my theory about it. And how
Yeah,
hard
I
she hit
think,
that ball, you know what I'm saying? She could have hurt anybody with her strength. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily intentional, but because she hit it so hard, it could have hit anybody.
yeah, I think that's an important differentiation to make. Like, I don't want to be that person, but it's just like the reality is, when it comes to the racial differentiations and that divide, like it's so important and it is
Hmm.
real. Like at the end of the day, like that's why I think what Gigi said earlier, like a lot of people that be going off in the comments and shit like that, you don't even know nobody gay or trans personally.
Yeah.
Because if you was to know us personally, and especially us as being like experiencing these things within the community, but with the black diaspora, like we're humble, like we're reasonable. Like it's, certain cultures that go out there and just, really over dramatize things, and it may be us too sometimes, but it's
Hmm.
just like we're not the ones really trying to like put all this dumb shit in policies. Like,
Yeah.
not saying that it's all dumb shit, but we're not being unreasonable with the things
Yeah.
that we're fighting for on a day to day,
Exactly.
Hmm.
you know?
I don't give a shit about
So,
no sports, baby.
right,
I,
well, and that's it. Like, we don't give a fuck about no sports.
I want to be cut anyway. So, like, no.
Yes. So, going on over to, speaking about trans issues, so I want to get into, like, since we're talking about these types of issues, I want to talk about a trans woman that was recently arrested for using the women's restroom. This was in Florida. Uh,
Yes.
her name was Marcy Rayton. She was a 20-year-old resident of Illinois who was apprehended by the Capitol Police and charged with trespassing. She pretty much told the police early on that she was doing it to like prove a point, per se, a little bit. Uh, yeah, it says it right here. She said, in quote, "I know that you know in your heart that this law is wrong and unjust." Rayton said in the letter. On March 19th, police approached her at the Capitol Inn and attempted to dissuade her from proceeding with her plans to go into the women's bathroom. Uh, However, she tried to pretty much still do that. What do you ladies feel about trans women using, the same restroom? And like Mimi said, when it comes to that separation, do you feel like trans women should kind of just all in all have a total separate gender neutral restroom, or do you think that it should all be combined when it comes to trans women using the same restroom?
Both. Both.
It should be an
Um,
option,
yes, it should. For the girls that you can't get through like that,
right?
girlfriend,
You should.
go ahead and use the separate bathrooms just so because you already know and see
But what about the ones that don't care and that's just like, I ain't
and I think
fucking it
that
with who I
mhm,
am, you know, and I want to
right.
still go and fuck whoever say what they say. What do you think about that?
Well, in this case, when you're talking about the woman that was in the Capitol and she wanted to go in the bathroom, I want to address that part separately, and I want to just say this. Um, that was messed up. The woman, clearly she is woman presenting. You can clearly see that. Yeah, you can clock her, whatever case may be, but you can clearly see that she's female presenting. So in that case, don't go out your way to try to ostracize somebody because
Mm,
of what you're feeling,
I
because of
agree.
your beliefs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I just want to say that part first, and that goes for women like her. And now I want to touch on the part where if for some girls now if you just starting the transition, you ain't all the way coming through yet. You might have to go ahead and use that separate bathroom, and that's okay.
Mm,
That don't
yeah.
mean that you're always going to have to use that bathroom, but we have to be aware of what type of world that we living in. We're living in a society that is not well how can I put it? They're not socially
Yeah.
accepting of us the way that we would like. So we have to also take that in mind. And I think that a lot of the older girls and a lot of the girls that have grew up being raised by those women understand that, especially in the black community. Just
Hmm.
saying. That we have some type of RA, like I ain't using a girl's bathroom too, bitch. I can piss a little bit
Yeah.
and then we start to go and assimilate. So it is
Hmm.
definitely a difference, but I don't think no one should be policed to go in the bathroom because it's unrealistic that you're going in there to go spy on a woman. Most times, nine
Yeah.
times out of ten, a trans person is going in the bathroom to piss shit,
Yeah.
do whatever, and get out of there.
And
So you're
that's what
making a
most
big deal
people
out
go
of
to the
nothing.
bathroom to do. Yeah. I
And
mean,
I
I'm
want to
not
ask
Hmm.
saying
this
that.
part. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but and it's so funny because see, biological women trip me out because when say that when you was a gay boy, they have no problem with you going
None.
into that girl's bedroom.
None.
No problem. Oh,
Girl,
come
you want to
on
hit
in here.
yours?
Like that you
Yeah.
want
That's a
to
good
us.
point. That's a
You
good
feel
point.
me? And now it's just all of a sudden, oh no, you want to be a woman. You shouldn't be. Girl, bye. You ain't had no problem with me being in there before. So, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ember?
I think it's so tricky because on one hand, I do feel like if you feel it in your heart and you identify as a woman that you should be able to use with the bathroom you identify. Like wholeheartedly, I feel that way. But it's I think, and this might be a little controversial, but I
No,
think
it's
some
fun.
trans girls don't put enough effort into receiving these privileges. I'm not
Well,
saying
I
using the bathroom is a privilege because everyone should be able
mm-hmm.
to use the restroom. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. But what I am saying is you have to put in effort into your look. You just don't wake up and say, I'm a woman and everybody's going to treat me like a woman and this is just what
Yeah.
it is. You have to take hormones. You have to break your body down. You have to wear feminine clothes. You have to, live your life as a woman full time, 24/7, in order to be able to use the restroom without people spooking that you're not a biological woman or whatever the case may be. So, like, I think to sum it all up, I think everyone should have that access, but I think trans women should also make it a point to put in a little more effort. Just so those problems don't happen. But that was
Yeah.
an isolated event with the Capitol because she told
Yeah.
them she was going to use the restroom, and the Capitol has a law that all of those things. So that was an
Yeah.
isolated event. But in general, in the grand scheme of things, just put a little bit of effort in. A little effort goes a long way.
Mm,
Thank you for bouncing
well
back
said.
to that original topic. What about you, Mimi? Do
Well,
you? Yeah.
I mean, like if she dressed like a girl, some places have that, both gender bathrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have two separate ones. Now I don't know what bathrooms they had there, but if she was, up in the geese or whatever, why would she go in the men's bathroom?
Right. That doesn't make
Right.
sense.
And
Right.
why it should have been an issue? Whoever said something, they were ignorant. Number one, because there had to be somebody in there that, caught
Yeah.
her
Clock
going
in
in there and
there.
reported
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? This is a public restroom, whether it's outside in a restaurant. Who gives a shit? You're a female figure, you're going in the female figure bathroom. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So I remember experiencing that with one of the girls back then. We were at the library and the security seen her going, she was like Wesley Snipes built or whatever, but what a scandal was, yeah. So, I mean she was, that's how she was back then. And they had an issue with her going in the women's bathroom. It wasn't us, you know what I mean? So, and it was like they gave us so much grief about it. They called the police and everything.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was crazy. I was like,
That's a
girl, oh my
mess.
gosh, are you serious? Like we said here experiencing this. But it's okay because no one understands your life at the end of the
Yeah.
day. You know what I'm saying? She made it look like Wesley Snipes, but she felt like a girl. And she wanted to go in a girl's
Yeah.
bathroom. So
Yeah. My
everyone
thing
should have
is,
that
you should be
right.
going in
Because it's
there. Yeah.
2025.
Right.
Doing what you supposed to do. You're not supposed to be looking in nobody's face, trying to check
Right.
out whether they got a pussy or a cock. Like, bitch,
What the
go in
fuck
the
did y'all think she was
bathroom.
going to do to y'all?
Right. So, I mean, but some people would say, and that's what I kind of wanted to know, like when people say, like, oh, my child is in here and da 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 da. And it's just
Hmm.
like there may be some cases. I mean, I don't feel like they're statistically as relevant, but
Hmm.
there may be some cases to where as though there are some creeps and freaks. And I mean, of
Hmm.
course, for that, we don't condone that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, all in all, when you're going into the bathroom to fucking use it, you're
Hmm.
doing that and you're leaving.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry. Let me
I'll,
just say this. Let me end
yes,
this real quick.
Gigi.
Look, I'm gonna put my little 2 cents in there. Okay,
Mm,
so for one, I think that they know. People they try to play ignorant. but they know the difference between the real and the fake. They, you know, a real trans woman versus somebody that's dressed up just trying to go in there and perpetrate.
Is
You
that
know the
called a
difference.
cross dresser?
Yes,
Is
you
that a
can
cross
tell the difference
dresser?
between a cross dresser and a woman that's going in there and she may be trans. You make like her tea, but
Hmm.
you clearly see, all right, she's a woman.
Hmm.
So it should not be an issue. Even to go back to me when I was in high school and they made it a big issue. It was a big issue for years because we had a trans person and they want to go in a female's restaurant. And so I felt ostracized at that time where they was like, oh no, you only got to use, first off, they tried to get me to use the boys locker room.
Wow.
Oh no. Yeah. I didn't know all
Who's
that.
using the boys' locker room? And so, and nobody told me to do this, but I knew in my heart, I'm not using no fucking boys' locker room. It was like one that they didn't use at the time. And so what happened was I wound up creating a really good relationship with the nurse. And you know, it's a bathroom in the nurse office, so I would use
Yeah.
the nurse's bathroom. But I'm not gonna lie, about in 10th grade, like once I saw that like the boobs and shit started coming in, bitch, I'm gonna use whatever bathroom I so
Gigi mixed
clear.
it. Yes. And we went to high school together,
The
by the
Yes.
way.
boobs and all
So
So
that.
you know,
we
I
Hmm.
went
went.
into that girl's bathroom, and if somebody said something, oh well then expel me then because I'm gonna keep going in there. And so that's what I
Period.
did. And you know,
Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We are here tonight with the T from the LGBT. And we are about to shift gears into pretty much like trans women interacting with the world, you know. So Gigi, I wanted you to introduce your question that you had in regards to uh straight, I think it was straight men
being
telling,
attracted.
I mean trans women telling straight men the tea, or just that was somebody's question. What was
I
your,
think
let
mine
me go back.
was okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it was something. Just go ahead and check, cause I
Hold on, yeah, give me 1 second, y'all. It was, yeah, we're gonna get into it. So how is it dealing with straight men being transgender? That was your
okay,
question.
okay.
So
Um, dealing with straight men being transgender, for one, it comes with a lot of criticism. I would say more so from cisgender women because they have such a hard fucking time wrapping their heads around that the same men that are attracted to you are attracted to us. And I think this rift between biological women and cis and trans women can get very misconstrued, especially when you have these straight men that are trying to keep a certain cover. And so they the instigators for real. They the ones like, oh yeah, you know,
for
she wanna be a part. But the whole time they fuck with you. And to the point where I have an ex I was in a relationship with since I was 16. I was about 16 to like 19, right? For years, right? We broke up, long story short. He's with a cisgender woman now. Do you know this man acts like he puts it on his page, he makes it his priority to be like, oh yeah, I don't like trans women, like it's so wrong, this and that and the third, like
that's
portraying
crazy.
this image to his baby mother. But at the end of the day, you're in my literally, it blows my mind, you're in my inbox while you're posting shit saying being trans is wrong,
Ain't
but
that
you're attracted
crazy?
to me.
Ain't that crazy, girl? Like, girl.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah,
How does that make you feel?
it makes
Because
me
I
feel
know, like, as
very
you know,
embarrassed.
sometimes it's like a kiki, but I feel like on a deeper scale of things, it's like that's really fucked up. Like, why are you playing with me like that? Like, that's really crazy. Like,
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
psychotic.
And that's why men, like straight men, they a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them play the fence. They play the role so they can have both. So they can dibble in this relationship when they want to, and then when they want to fuck with us, they can fuck with us. Like
That's
I
exactly what it is. That's exactly
mhm.
what it is.
How
100%.
about you, Amber? What do you feel about that? About dealing with just straight men? Like, what do you feel about that?
So yeah, it's a very I always tell the girls that ask me for advice coming up, like the young girls, like stay away from trade, like no shade, like girls, stay away from trade because especially in your beginning years when you're blossoming and forming and like really learning who you are,
Mhm.
they can be so detrimental to your
Mhm.
development as a trans woman. They
Mm.
can have you like of course, I'm speaking of the worst case scenario. Like there's the opposite side and might be positive things, but for what I've gone through and what other trans women have gone through, what I've seen through the years is that these men, like Gigi said, want to be with us one day and then be with the natural born women the next day, and then sometimes might even be with a boy on Friday. So it's just like they be trying to uphold this way of life and like this facade when they're really fighting demons, which makes it
Mm.
so dangerous to us because
Mhm.
these same men who would sleep with us when the lights go out or at nighttime are the same ones who might want to unalive us if their secret gets out or someone suspects that they're bisexual or gay or whatever the case may be. So it creates a very dangerous situation for the girls. So I just if he won't walk down the street with you, you know what I'm saying, treat you like a regular human being, I say don't deal with it. Because like Gigi said, and I also do sex work, so that adds another layer to it, online sex work. So I'll have literally men like literally online saying the most heinous things about trans women,
Mm.
but trying to be paying me to, like for FaceTime shows or stuff like that, or for content and stuff like that. So it's really disheartening. It's like a double-edged sword because sometimes it feels like, okay, well, I'm really the dog, so like yeah, but then on the
Right.
Right.
other hand, it feels like that don't feel good, like you know what I'm saying. So it's
Mhm.
it's weird.
Yeah.
What about you, Mimi? Because Mimi, the
Well,
trade in her face, child. Yes.
it child. So, ooh, well, I'm gonna agree with what Amber said. Both of them said, but the thing about it is, um, they do that. You know what I'm saying? If they're not proud of who they are, and of course, like us as trans men, we don't want no weak nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like we want
Mhm.
somebody that's just as masculine, just as genuine, and just as manly. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna treat us as such. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I don't want a lot of trans women to get mixed up. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're trans, just because you're feminine, doesn't mean you have to have a straight guy.
Right.
You know,
And
you
I
have,
was gonna
like I said,
ask that next. Like, what is y'all type? But go ahead.
you
Like,
have to know what works for you. Some people date trans men, some people date studs, you know what I'm saying? Some people date BQs, you know what I mean? So it's whatever, floats your boat.
I have one more
what's
thing
your
to add.
preference? Yeah, like I was gonna ask one by one, starting with Mimi. What is your preference? Like, what do you would you dabble with a stud? Would you dabble with a woman, a biologically born woman? Like, what would you tangle with a BQ? Like, what's the tea?
My attractiveness is masculinity tomboyish. It don't matter if it's a woman, if it's a guy, like right now I'm with a trans man. So, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I never had a problem with any studs or what I'm saying, women. Long as they got that aggressiveness to them, it don't matter. Like I would date a woman that like sometimes look like a stud, and sometimes get a little cute, a little splash of femininity. It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother
Okay. What
me.
about you, Amber?
Okay, before I say that, I want to say
She
this
couldn't wait
one
to
thing.
answer that. Like,
I just before I answer that question, I just want to say like it. Sometimes it's like mind-boggling when biological women can't understand that like straight men may be attracted to trans women because we look like women. Like you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's kind of confusing to me when they can't really wrap their brains around it. Like, how can he be attracted to her and also be attracted to me?
Mhm.
When it's like, I mean, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, talk like a duck, it's a duck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how most men operate. But I just wanted to put a pin in that. But to answer your question, honestly, I'm pansexual. I'm attracted to men, women, trans men. I just really go off of vibes and how somebody makes me feel more so. Like the gender doesn't really, it's not like a big thing to me. As long as somebody treats me right and gives me that spark and makes me, feel good, then it's what it is.
Hey,
Okay.
that's
What
good.
about you, Gigi? What is Gigi's type? Gigi the
Okay.
glam.
So I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I don't like the trade, but I like straight men. Like
Okay.
I like straight men, I like trans men.
Okay.
But like dealing with straight men can be it can be tricky because like we said in society, especially black men, I love me some black men. I do. But it can be so hard dealing with that toxic masculinity and that their own insecurities and bullshit that comes along with that. But if you find the right man, which is some good men out here, some good niggas out here. I
Uh-huh.
think that you would be really happy, but the thing is, they can have that extra masculine, that thug energy. That yeah, I cannot deal with it. That's why I don't deal with a lot of Baltimore men now because
Mhm.
a lot of them have that toxic masculinity programmed into them so much so where you can't even be the femme queen that you wanna be because you got them constantly like judging you. You can't even do a little Vogue, nothing like that, because they just looking at, oh, that's that big. I don't want to deal with no
Yeah, I
man
don't
like
want to
that.
deal with that. I don't want to deal with
You
Yeah.
feel me? I want to deal with a
Uh-huh.
man that's completely secure within himself and that is comfortable
Uh-huh.
with his own femininity because as human beings alone, we have a duality. So you got to be completely comfortable with yourself. And I like a man with a little, just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little, like, yeah, let me dominate you a little. But,
Okay. So
Okay.
we had a comment, which actually is what I was going to ask next. This woman wants to know, first stop healthcare training wants to know, good evening. Do y'all tell people that y'all are trans? And that
Ooh.
was going to be my question. Like, how
Mm.
is that specifically telling like straight men that you're trans?
Mm.
Like, what is that like?
Mm-mm-mm.
Thanks everyone for joining in, by the way. Starting with Gigi, like, what is that like? Just people in general. Like,
Hey,
do you tell
Ken.
people that you're trans? Do you
no.
feel like you should? Or what's that like?
So, mm,
Mm.
I'm gonna tell
Yes.
y'all
Get
like I'm gonna
into
tell
it,
y'all like
baby.
this. I ain't gonna hold you because I've had some experiences, baby. Okay, okay. Let's just disclaimer.
You
You should
okay?
tell if look, you should tell a man that you're trans. If you're dating him, y'all in a relationship, y'all getting serious, whatever the case might be. Tell the man, tell the man, tell the man. If you shouldn't even feel comfortable with somebody not knowing fully who you are because I like to be myself too much
Yeah.
to for somebody to not know that very important part about me. However,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was the girl
Okay,
that
here we
used
go
to
now, however. Mm-hmm.
I was the girl that used to girl bigger than that. Listen, everybody didn't know. Everybody did not know. I'm sorry. I'm not telling everybody. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Do
gotta
you think
know
it's
you first.
a safety thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, I'm not just about to be, oh, yeah, I'm trans. Like, no. And also, a part of me had to become completely comfortable with who I was for me to just not give a fuck. Like, that is the first thing I want you to know. Like, I don't even waste no time no more. And I was like, all right, I'm trans. And 9 times out of 10, I'm so sorry, but they don't give a fuck. So, that built my self esteem up even more to be like, bitch, what you so ashamed of? A lot of times you let them know they become more excited. They even more enamored, even more attractive. I've had so many straight men that be like, yo, it's my fantasy to be in a relationship with one of y'all. But they don't have the strength. They not strong enough to be with a woman like me. So they'll forever be with their baby mamas
That
and and stuff like that because they not secure with who they are. But you should
Mm-hmm.
definitely tell. But all the time should you tell if I'm meeting a guy at the bar, he's buying me a drink? No, you're not gonna know that to me. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry.
Nah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have sex with you, but no, everybody's not gonna know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's my
What
medical
about you,
bill.
Amber?
I think I just don't. I feel like the world sometimes want us to walk around with like these huge signs painted in red, like I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm trans. But that's just not realistic. Like I don't think
Yeah.
that's necessary for everyday life. I don't think everybody needs to know that part of your life unless you're like involving a relationship or sex or things like that. At that point, I feel like okay, we should probably want to tell somebody. But with this climate and Trump and being in office and all the negative and hateful things that are being shown on the media and things right now, I don't think all the girls should walk around just telling everybody their tea. I don't think so because I think it opens the doors. If you're not one thing I learned when I started to pass more and more, when you're not completely visibly trans and somebody can't look at you and say, "Oh, that's one of the dolls," I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of creates another target on your back because when people do find
Mm-hmm.
out, it's like, especially with men, they might have like certain feelings that they haven't resolved yet,
Yeah.
and they might result to violence, or even with like women, that opens the door for them to just like unwarrantedly like throw you shade and hate and things like that. So
Uh-huh.
I like G said, if I'm out at the bar or if I'm at the airport and somebody wants to buy me a drink or do something nice for me, I'm not just gonna say, wait, I'm trans. I need you. Like, I'm not. I'm gonna. As I tell girls to wrap it up, I tell girls never deny yourself of the experience. So
Yeah.
if it's not an unsafe situation, and you just outside being
Period.
the doll, being yourself, being femme queen, beat that, and like, you know what I'm saying? Then have your
Yes.
fun.
Yes, being a girl. Like I'm a girl. I didn't transition to be trans. I
Yeah.
transitioned to be a woman.
Hey,
Exactly.
y'all. All right.
Fine.
What about you, Mimi?
Mm, you should. In some cases, I don't. It depends on what it is. Like she said, you know what I'm saying? I'm actually currently dealing with that kind of situation right now, honestly,
Mm.
where I'm
Ooh.
torn between, but I'm like, what do I owe him? I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be cool at the end of
It's
the
Right.
day. So
so tricky.
if you keep thinking I'm fish, maybe it is what it
So
is.
is niggas asking and like pressuring y'all to tell sometimes, or is it like? Because my thing is, if you keep asking, like you kind of already know, like bitch, like you just trying to like make yourself feel better in a way, like
Mm,
or
Mm-hmm.
like fuck your own head up. Like why you keep asking me that? Like
It'd be a
mm-hmm.
fantasy. It's like
Yeah.
a fantasy. Like they like to act like they don't know. That makes their fish in their
right.
water and stuff. That and then also a lot of girls when a girl when you act like you don't know that a girl is trans, that makes the girl feel good. So it's like a tactic to make a girl feel good and also like a
To
fantasy
get
for the
her
boys. I
ass
feel.
too.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
these niggas is
What
a trap.
advice, like, because, like, we've mentioned, like, with talking about this, like, telling straight guys your tea, like, I'm sure that could be, dangerous, and there are safety precautions that comes with that. What advice would you give other trans women that are, just starting out, and trans girls, like the younger ones that are starting out in this journey? Like, what would you give them? Starting with Gigi.
Okay. For one, I want to add one more thing to that. What we just said. What was I about to say? Shit. Okay. Yeah. So, when it comes to dealing with men, right? For one, you gotta understand. A lot of men really just don't give a shit, and it was something else that I was trying to say, but anyway, I'm gonna come back to it. But the advice that I would give a trans woman would be very similar to what Amber said earlier, where focus on yourself, focus on your transition. You should not be worried. I mean, it's okay to play with niggas and or be the girl, whatever case may be, but take being in a relationship and trying to really date men and your transition, you're early in your transition, it is it's kind of self-destructive, and that's what I did, and it took me way longer to get where I wanted to get to because I was focused on a man. When you're focused on a man, you're stressed, you're not eating, you're not taking your hormones proper. Like it fuck with your mental so bad, and then you're already changing what you're insecure about. So then you got that on top of the insecurities of being trans, dealing with a man, trying to live up to these certain expectations of a woman. And it can just be very self-destructive to your transition. Focus on your transition. That should be the number one thing in your mind, in your life. That's it. That education, getting money. Getting money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And letting that come
Mhm.
along when it does. What about you, Amber? You agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I think, and it could even go with just like not even just trans women, cis women as well, just women. Period. Like if
Yeah.
you know me, like I am someone who preaches that women need to prioritize their own happiness, their
Yeah.
own life, their own success, their own career, and their own money because a man could come and go, but all those things will never leave you.
Yeah.
So if we want to relate that to transitioning, I think I agree with her 1,000%. When we prioritize men, we don't focus on the things that we really need to, whether it's because of insecurities or trying to prove your worth to somebody or all those things where like I'm a firm believer if somebody doesn't see your worth, there's no explaining to them. It's nothing you can do to make them see it. They have to see it in their
Mm-hmm.
own. So to wrap
Mm-hmm.
things up, I 100% like if you just focus on yourself and moan out, even with the naysayers and people that shade you and to call you a brick and all of that. My homegirl just
Mm-hmm.
said the other day, bricks build houses. Okay, so look, get in your zone, moan out, honey. Focus on
Yeah.
you, and watch you be kind. Watch you be
Yeah.
kind.
Okay.
Okay,
You be a brick
Absolutely.
house. Okay.
okay, okay. Yes.
What about you, Mimi?
I'm touching and agreeing.
Not touching and
I've
agree.
been, I, I can say because I've experienced it as well, and a lot of things that a lot of the girls do is they get a man and they move them in with them.
Oh
That
yes.
is the most one of the most dangerous things you could do, and I'm not saying like because I don't know what it is with these men, these trade, but they like to get a little physical with the girls. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? When it's hard to get rid of them out of your space. When y'all get into like, no, I can't do this. You hindering me from doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I remember that time you guys hit it right on the nose. I remember the time I put the focus on my transition like I was supposed to. Like I was so depressed and down from this
Yeah.
relationship. I lost so much weight. I didn't want to come outside. I was just looking fish. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not stepping my pussy up. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing to myself?
Yeah.
It got so crazy. So my advice to you guys is just focus on yourself. Don't worry about a man. If you want to find him, feel him, fuck him, and forget him, that's fine. But don't get acquainted too close in the relationship and think, oh, I want a man that's gonna make me feel more like cunt. No, feel like cunt the way you are growing into
Mhm.
being the woman that you're growing into. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great
Okay.
point.
I'm gagging because my light cut out. Like,
Oh.
where the fuck did my lighting go? But it's alright. Um, so before we get into this next segment, everyone, we'll be lightening things up a little bit. You got to hear different topics, from these ladies regarding their experience being trans. This will, everyone, be on YouTube. This will be on my YouTube channel, which is Joshspeakz. Make sure you click the link in my bio to get the full throttle of the conversation. Also, make sure you follow this page, follow the panelists, and add me on TikTok at the real
Oh, let
JL.
me do it
Uh,
now, honey. Wait a minute.
yeah. Yeah. So the next thing that I want to get into tonight, y'all, is the Met Gala Awards. Did y'all all watch that?
I
Shucks.
did. I
A,
did.
Y'all
like, a little
watched
here
it?
and there. A little here and there. I got into the looks a little here and there.
Okay, what about you, Mimi? Was you watching the Gala Awards?
I didn't, but when you told me about it, I got into it. I tuned into all the looks.
Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was a lot. Like, it was a lot. I'm going to pull up some pictures of individuals last night from the red carpet, some of the ones that stood out to me. And I want y'all to rate the looks 1 to 10. We're gonna go box by box. This is the last segment tonight. I'm not gonna wear y'all thin. But yeah, I want to start with Doja Cat. This was one of the looks that really stood out to me. I thought what she had on was pretty hot. Like, my homeboy was saying that he didn't like the hair and shit like that. But Doja Cat. So mind you, the theme was, hold on 1 second. And super fine tailoring black style. So there were a lot of people in suits, things that were really like tailored to their bodies and things like that. So I want to see, like, what do y'all feel about Doja Cat's look? It's
Okay, so oh, Doja is just Doja. She's gonna be
Right.
different every time. She's like a Lady Gaga of this generation. So
yeah, I love
just
Doja.
like that girl, let her Gaga. Okay, let her do her.
So, so what would you
Yeah.
rate her
La
outfit,
Gaga.
Gigi?
um, it is high fashion. We're talking about high fashion, so we have to keep that in mind. I would give her like a 7.5 to an 8.
Okay. I think that's what I said too. Yeah, that yeah.
Okay. I definitely get eight. I think eight too.
Okay.
Because even if
Why
it's
would
not
you
like
say that, Amber? Like, what is it making it an 8?
even if it's not like what's the correct word I'm trying to use? Like trendy or like aesthetically pleasing, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. Or like mainstream, I think it still fits the
Hmm.
theme. I think it was still very on theme. It
Yeah.
just was like a
Hmm.
little more camp or like outlandish.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think she put it together. Like it's Doja, so like you wouldn't expect anything different, honestly. So
Mm.
I liked it.
Yeah. What about you,
Scandalous.
Mimi?
I think like a little cape or something draped behind it should have been added, but I give it an 8. I definitely give
Okay.
it an 8. I
A lot,
like it. The
lot of
I
the
can
aesthetic.
girls had
see that
capes
like a
and
tail.
drapes,
Yeah,
and
tail
it was a
or
lot.
something.
A lot of people was doing trains. I feel like they do trains a lot for Met Gala. All
Hmm.
right, so the next person that we have
Oh,
tonight from the Met Gala Awards is Alton Mason.
Mm.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, Alton,
okay,
he is a model. He serves down.
okay.
Yeah, he had a Drake type tee. I really like this look. I think I would give this look a 9. Yeah,
Okay.
what do y'all think about that?
I like
I
it.
mean,
It's very sharp.
yeah, I think it's very clean. I see what he
Hmm.
was going for. Um, I give it a 9 too. 8 to a 9. Yeah, he did what he had to do.
Okay, he took the jacket off. That's cute.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
love the detail, the eye patch.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's
this was hitting. What do
Yeah,
you think about
he
that,
took the
Amber?
jacket off, once he took the jacket off, I did like the jacket, but once he took the jacket off and they gave body and they gave that silhouette, that's when I
Yeah.
went for it. I said, okay,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
he ate that for me. So yeah, I enjoyed
And
it.
again, it's about tailoring. It's about having it tailored, to your body, like to fit how you need it to fit. So, what do you think about that, Mimi?
I give it a 9.5. It's
Okay.
definitely it's very, very handsome. It's like, oh, it looks so sharp and clean. I love it. Hmm.
Okay. What about Sabrina Claudio? She's the next person.
Oh, I love that look.
Yeah, 10.
10,
That's
10,
cute.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 across the board. Stand to the side.
She ate that
She
for me.
ate it. Mhm, she did
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I feel like she should have did something with the lower half. I mean, I really like the color. I love the shoes and shit like that. Her legs are sexy, but I wish she would have did like some type of skirt type tease. I think I'm gonna give her like an 8. I don't know. It was something about the bottom. But I mean the blonde, like that was cute. That was cute.
I think it really like worked for her brand because her brand is like it's like subtle meets like sexy. So I think
Okay,
it
yeah,
kind of like worked really well
Mm,
because it was like up top I'm giving you like very sophisticated like but at the bottom nothing but legs. Like I'm
sexy,
giving you
yes.
yeah sexy. So yeah.
yeah, that was cute.
It's
Right.
giving skin, like, sir. Ooh.
So yeah,
You
enough.
got any more?
Mm, yes.
I think it's a 10 for me.
I think it's a 10 too, because it's
It's a
giving
10 for
Mac.
me.
It's giving Mac.
It's
Yeah,
giving Matt.
it's
It's
definitely
giving.
giving Matt. Yeah, I would say like yeah, 9.5. Yeah, like and then mind you, the detail you got to get into the detail. Like this was like a suit jacket, and that was like the sleeves. Like that is so cute.
Yeah. That was very creative, very Mac. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So before we end it out, I do want to. I do want to ask. Uh, 1 second. Just before we end it out, like we talked about relationships and things like that. What are y'all views on marriage? Like, do y'all want to be married one day? Like, I like this will be our closing out topic, by the way. So, yeah, what are y'all views on marriage?
Okay. Okay, so real quick. Marriage. I'm a wife. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a wifey type and I'm gonna be married one day.
Okay.
Period.
I'm gonna be married one
So,
day.
do you
I'm
want the
fucking married.
whole like shebang? You want children and the
I do.
marriage
I'm
and
somebody's mother. I'm meant to be like yelling at somebody and telling them like, get your shit together. So
okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm getting all of that. Everything that God got for me, I'm getting it. He said he
Man,
made that promise.
yeah,
So I'm getting it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. What about you, Amber?
I think to give it, it's a long answer, but to give the short answer, I think so. I think I would like to get married. Sometimes I get like a little discouraged because I'm like, I don't know, because I just feel like the current like state around like dating is just like a little crazy, and I think I'm just a little different in how I date. So I think that makes things a little difficult. But to answer your question, I would like to, but I don't. I want to raise a family. But I don't know if I'll need to get married to do that. So it might be in the cards. Who knows?
All right. What about you, Mimi?
I still haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
So,
Well, you
yeah.
That's
still
real.
young.
That's real.
Can I say
I
this?
mean, I'm about to like I'm in my 40s, so child, by the time I better make a decision soon. It depends.
You
It
still
really
got time.
depends.
My aunt,
Yeah.
she got married at like what just now 60s.
The
Real
thing
shit.
about it is
Like,
the assure. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but the assurance of who you are wholeheartedly committed to is very important first, because you could be together for so long and then get married. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to
mm,
grow into marriage, if that makes
okay.
sense.
Okay. What
Yeah.
was you gonna say, Gigi, before we close out?
All right. I want to touch on two things really quick. For one, about the straight men. I want to say this disclaimer and tricking and all of that. I just want people to know this. About I would say a good 90% of trans women tell these men. I just want to put that out there just in case if any lines have gotten misconstrued. We tell men. So if you hear about this girl that got killed and he stabbed her because of this or whatever case might be, it's because of these men, okay, and their own insecurities. I just want to put that out there, and I want everybody for that to sink into them, into their subconscious mind to know that. Um, and then I wanted to also talk about marriage and being a transgender woman and the expectations that we have of what our life is supposed to look like. I feel like society feels like that we are the less desirables. We're the undesirables, if you will. And that is not true. I want every woman, every trans woman to really understand that you are desirable. There's
Mm-hmm.
men that want you, there's men that will marry you, or whoever that you interested in. It is possible for you. Because you're trans, it does not limit your experience as a woman and as a person, that these things are possible, and all things are possible for those who believe in Christ. Okay?
Okay.
So
Yes.
Hallelujah.
I just want everybody to know that. Change your mindset. See this for yourself. Everything starts inwardly.
With
So
the
if you
vision,
want
yeah.
something, yes, you got to think about it. You got to embody it, and to the point where this is possible. And there's a lot of men out there that want to get. I've talked to. Look, I'm in a look. I can't even tell you. Look, that's a whole
Oh,
nother. But look, okay.
Gigi, the motivational speaker. I love
It's
it.
men out there that
Yeah.
will marry you. He will put a ring on it quicker than like, yeah, it's a lot of men that want to marry trans women. Like, regardless of what society thinks, I've met a few where they might type necessarily, no, but so
Right.
we'll see what it gives. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about you, Amber?
Um,
Did you already answer this?
yeah, I was gonna say I
Oh,
already
I'm
did.
gonna. All right. I want to really genuinely thank you ladies for coming on tonight. It really means a lot to me. I was a little nervous at first. I'm like, Lord, the girls, the girls, the girls, but I loved it. I really enjoyed this conversation tonight. And I wish you all the best. I wish you all peace, love, and blessings and prosperity. Is there any closing remarks that y'all want to add? I know Gigi just said her piece, but Mimi and
Instagrams.
Amber, yeah, do y'all have anything that y'all want to say before we end tonight?
Check me out on Instagram, Amber Kylie B. I'm banned on my live on my real my other Instagram, my personal Instagram. So that's why you hear my business. You follow my personal Amber Kylie B, my YouTube channel. I'll be dropping my facial feminization vlog pretty soon on my YouTube channel. Same name,
Okay.
Amber Kylie B. Check me out. And I just want to
Okay.
say I had a blast. Thank you for having me. I was a little
You're
nervous
welcome.
because I'm still like dealing with like social anxiety and
You
things like
did
that, like learning to overcome
great.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and y'all are beautiful, and I love y'all so much. I had a blast.
Yes, no problem. What about you, Mimi?
In my closing, love on yourself continuously, love on other people that love on to you. And be the best version of yourself, honey. And you'll be fine, baby.
And
All
where can we
right.
find you?
Um, Dare Her in Me 2020 on Instagram and Shani Me More on Facebook.
All right. Right. And for me, y'all, I am Gigi the Glam Goddess on all platforms. Exactly how it's spelled on my Instagram. It's like that on my TikTok and my YouTube. So check me out. Yeah.
Fine.
Yay. All right, y'all. It's a wrap. Thank you so much to the viewers, the people that stayed.
Thanks for having
And
us.
all
Mwah.
right, yeah,
Yes.
no problem, ladies. If y'all want to get in the mix, this is going to be a show that I'm going to keep going with. So, even if I have you guys in the mix with my other conversations, this tonight was a little bit more focused
Mhm.
on, trans issues. And I hope that I was able to cover everything. I see some people in the comments saying that it was insightful, and I'm happy. That's my goal, to educate, the masses.
Mm,
So I
yes.
will see you guys the next time. And yeah, I hope y'all have a good
And
night.
and
Thank
listen,
you.
really quick, I always got like final little. I just want to say, Josh, thank you so much for being an avid supporter of women of my experience.
Yes.
It is very helpful. And we love you because we need more men like you. So
Oh,
thank you
thank
for just
you.
being there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much for that, y'all. And have a good night. Thank you, everybody.
Have a blessed
Love y'all.
night. Nice meeting y'all.
All right.
Mhm.